Um, Welcome everybody. How are you doing today? I hope that everybody is doing well. And I wanted to speak today a little more about our upcoming 3-week intensive on removing obstacles to awakening in today's world, nervous system, surrender and trust. We speak a lot about the nervous system and its role in awakening and freedom in our programs. I often call it the missing link between our actual desire for truth and between our actual ability to be here in a moment. We may be desiring truth. However, if we don't understand the workings of the nervous system, we might not be able to be present to what arises. And as you know, in today's world, a lot of things can be challenging or arise, in your life, in the life of people around you, in the world in general. Today is election day here in the United States. For many people, that's the end of a long and sometimes very stressful political process. Many people have voted already. Many people are going to vote today. And yet, that political process can bring up a lot of stress for everybody. So can life in general. And that's one of the obstacles when we talk about obstacles to awakening and removing obstacles to awakening. One of the obstacles is how much our nervous systems get affected by what is going on in the world. And I want to speak a little more in our program in general, but also today about how to separate the events that are happening in the world, in your life, in the people around you. How to separate that from the response in your nervous system. And how to learn to actually be present and more present, even more present to what arises here for you in a moment. Many of you have been doing this already for a while, and you know that your ability to do that has grown. We can all, though, use a little reminder, and so I want to do a little practice together on how to sit here again, how to be here when things get challenging, when things are stressful, when things get difficult. Number one, and I want you to practice with me, number one is, we always want to just come more as much as possible. Leave the story behind, leave the narration, leave the whatever we are thinking about, what's going on behind for a moment, even just for a moment. And come more into the present. Notice, what is it like sitting here right now? Notice the sensations in your body. Notice the spaciousness in which everything arises. So if there are events or situations that cause a lot of stress in your experience, number one, we want to identify that, but number two, we want to separate that, create a little distance with that. The interesting thing about the nervous system is, in presence, we say everything arises in presence. For the nervous system to have a little distance, it allows it to really be more present to what is. So whatever the situation is, whatever the people, whatever the things that are happening, can we put them away, put them aside for a moment? Put them in a little box somewhere out there in the middle of the ocean, somewhere out in the sky, or wherever you want to do that. Beautiful, beautiful. And just by doing that, you can notice already that there's a level of rest that begins to happen. You know, sometimes we need to speak about the events that are happening. That's often part of our inquiry. I'm not going to go there right now. We have to be careful though not to stir the nervous system up too much by speaking. We want to share the facts. We don't want to necessarily just get lost in the interpretation of that or in the story. So notice that just by creating some distance, there is already a calmness, a little more calmness in your experience. You know, calmness that is so important. Again, you know, when we speak about awakening and removing obstacles to awakening, one of the obstacles is the engagement with what arises. You know, how real that appears, how much we want to engage. And this, what we are doing right now, is a way to disengage from that. Beautiful, beautiful. So if you are noticing already a little bit of rest or a little bit of ease or even the tiniest little bit, I want you to notice that. You know, attention is very powerful, right? So whatever you put your attention to, you know, when we put our attention towards what aggravates, it will make it stronger. If we put our attention towards the parts of our experience that are actually beginning to rest, beginning to relax, it's going to make that stronger. Good, beautiful. And if it helps, you know, you can notice sensations in your body. If your attention, if thoughts keep arising and your attention keeps moving with that, just notice that. That's okay, but definitely come back to noticing sensations in your body. You know that you can look around or hold some objects or touch some object, or even touch the surface that you are sitting on. You know, what really matters is the commitment to this. Thoughts are going to arise. Feelings, emotions, sensations are going to arise. Attention is going to want to follow what arises. And we just simply keep coming back to this. And you know, of course, when you are doing it on your own, this is going to take whatever time it takes, right? Now just sitting here together, you know, if you notice that moment of settling in, if you notice any level of rest, maybe your perception has changed and things are a little lighter, easier. You can take a breath. Just notice that. because it matters so much that we are able to be here, right? That we are able to come back here. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's happening, this is where we can come back here, right? We don't have to engage from the reactivity. And of course, that's easier said than done when a lot of reactivity or past or triggers are present. However, there's always that moment in which we realize, what I really want is to be here, right? So I want to invite you to commit to this practice, to know that, to remember that it works, that we can, that it's possible. And I also really want to invite you to join me and join all of us in our upcoming 3-week program, where we'll be speaking more about this, removing obstacles to awakening in today's world. More about the nervous system, and really more about the true meaning of surrender, and how surrender and trust go hand in hand, and how that, so important, so important, surrender and trust, how that really leads to awakening. And how, being able to be here really, really facilitates that. It facilitates our own visceral knowing and experience of trust. So I'm very much looking forward to our time together. Please, if you like these videos, like and share and subscribe and comment. We really appreciate that, and it helps others to benefit from this as well.